Oh, fuck. Holy shit. Just walking up this hill at 10,000 feet. I have now passed the 10,000 mark, and it is so brutal. Just walking. Just freaking walking up this hill is tough. But I only got 50 more yards and I'm at the peak. But oh my God, is it so beautiful here. It's just amazing. You know what sucks about running 30 miles? Running 30 miles. Today will be my longest run in 14 years since the last time I ran through Death Valley. I'll be doing 30 miles today, just for training. This isn't even for a race. There's no wars, there's no crowds, there's nothing. This is just for training. I'm going to a place called Neusa, Colombia, which is a big lake. I think it's a reservoir, and there's no town there. It's just a really pretty lake, and it's about halfway there and halfway back will give me about 30 miles. So we'll see how I do today. Luckily, it's overcast and cool. Neusa is a place you won't find in any travel guide. No restaurants, no tourists, no town. Just a reservoir in the middle of the Andes that most people have never heard of. The locals know the name, but not many have seen it. That's why I want to go there. It's about the adventure to see something that few people see. To go where few people go. Most people train for a marathon. What I'm training for makes a marathon look like a warm-up run. Hola. This August, I'll be running 146 miles through the hottest desert on the planet, Death Valley. A solo self-contained run from 120 degrees desert heat to the snow-covered mountaintop of Mount Whitney. I need to train a lot. I can run the same roads, the same routes, the same routine, or I can make every run an expedition. Especially when my Saturday run routes are 30 to 50 miles long. Soon I'll be pushing 80 plus miles in one day. Right now, I'm in Colombia. Today, I start at 8,400 feet above sea level and will climb to over 10,000 feet of relentless mountain roads. No crew, no water stations, no running mate, just me and a bottle of water. Just pick a place on the map, get in the miles, and let it be an adventure. Let's see what happens between here and there. There's no real plan, and that is the point. Hombres, ¿cómo estás? I started in a small city called Zipaquira, just outside of Bogotá. This is where I've been living for the past 5 months at 8,400 feet elevation. My first stop is a tiny town called Cogua. It's a charming little town with a center square and a church that is popular with the locals for good reason. It's easy to get here because it's mostly flat and only 6 miles away. But that is where the real work starts. And that's where the adventure begins, because it goes into an area of Colombia that I've never been to before. It starts off as a mixture between flat and rolling hills. It's picturesque and clearly an area of wealth and horse farms. The road takes me downhill, which is discouraging because I know that means more mountains that I have to climb. But the landscape is stunning and the journey is beautiful, so I don't mind that much. Then the real work begins, where I have to start climbing up a long and relentless mountain road, a climb so steep that the road snakes back and forth. Buenas. Hola, niño. Hola. As I start to climb, I get my first view of the mountain landscape in the distance. It's what I've been looking for, and the reason I chose this route. The mountain climbs are why I'm here in Colombia. Because I start at high altitude and I go even higher. This long climb is what builds up my cardio capacity and my leg strength. And the view, oof, awe-inspiring. There's an invisible line that you go through. It's pretty sudden It's the thermocline. Once you get high enough, just all of a sudden it drops like 10 degrees. It's a really cool feeling and welcomed, because with the sun, it's not hot, but it's definitely appreciated to be slightly cooler with the cool air. Oh my gosh, you could hear it in my breath just, just walking up this hill. I'm closing in on 10,000 feet, and just walking is tough. The road's not that steep. They told me it was very steep, but it's not that steep. But it's the altitude for me. Holy cow, 10,000 feet to run at this level. I used to be able to do it, and I will get there again. But right now, this is tough. I thought I was at the top of the mountain, made the turn, and the hill still goes up. A little less steep, but still going up. I'm assuming I'm going up there. I don't know. Never been here before. Look at that tree. I gotta show you this tree. How beautiful that is. Look at that. I could take a nap under that tree right now. How wonderful would that be? Often when I'm in rural areas like this, I need to be careful of dogs because there are very few people walking or running by. So the dogs tend to be aggressive and protective of their property. I am getting near the top. Very, very close. This is exciting because my legs are tired. But this little girl gave me the puppy dog eyes that beg for attention. She has no collar, but she must have an owner because she's well fed and she looks healthy. She starts to follow me. I don't invite her. I don't encourage her. She just decides to make me her new best friend, as if she sensed an adventure. A few minutes later, we arrive at the park and the lake entrance. I stop to talk to the guards. The dog is still by my side. Both of the guards think that we're traveling together. I tell them that she's not mine, but she's following me for the moment. The park is about to close, but they give me permission to enter without paying a fee so that I can see the lookout of the lake. That's just too bad. I need a new roof here. This is so pretty. So this is it. I made it. 14 miles to get here, mostly uphill. Oh, flat, then uphill. This climb was pretty tough for me today, even though it's only 10,000 feet up. I've been much higher, I've trained much higher, but today it's just giving me a little trouble. Get a little bit of a headache too, which I don't normally get. But here I am in front of the reservoir called Neusa, which has been a hard name for me to remember. But the funny thing, the ironic thing, is that this looks just like Candlewood Lake in Connecticut, where I live when I'm in the US. So, but I made it, and now I need to run home. And as you can see by the sunlight, it's getting late, and I'm gonna end up returning in the dark. But that's how it works sometimes. It's a very short visit because I don't have much time left. The sun is starting to go down, and I've got 15 miles to go to get back to the city before dark. I don't have any lights, and my phone battery is very low, so I need to get moving. So my new four-legged friend and I head out of the park, back to the road where we get more views of the lake. The lake is beautiful. It was so worth the trip. But I wonder, how many other people would run 14 miles to get to a lake only to admire it for 15 minutes and then run back home? That thought, it makes me smile. It's not actually a natural lake. It's a reservoir built in 1952 that never worked quite as planned as hydroelectric power. The project failed, but now the reservoir is used for drinking water for the city that I just ran from. And the area is now an ecotourism region for camping and picnics. I'm not going back on the same road that I came in. I'm taking another route to make a big circle. I'm excited about this because I get to see new things, but my new doggy friend is still following me and I don't want her to get lost. So I asked this guy with the horse to keep the dog for a minute while I continue to run, so the dog can find its way home. But the dog will have nothing to do with it, insists on following me anyway. When she stops to sniff something on the side of the road and isn't looking at me, I decide to make a sprint for it and I'm gonna lose her. So she won't follow me. If she doesn't see me, then she'll go back home. Phew, I'm out of sight. I've lost her. Nope. A few seconds later and a half mile down the road, the dog is sprinting around the corner to catch up to me, and my plan to lose her doesn't work. Now we're 2 miles away from her home. Actually, I don't know if that was her home, but that's where I found her. She's a street dog, and I'm not worried about her finding her way back. But I am worried that if I get too far that she won't be able to make her way back.
And that's when I bump into two teenagers on a motorcycle that stop right near me. So I walk over and I ask the boys to do me a favor. Will you hold the dog while I continue running and keep her until I'm out of sight? The boys recognized the dog and knew where the dog lived, so they promised me that they would make sure they got her home. So I continue running down the country mountain road in an extraordinarily beautiful place, and I meet the guy again with the horse, and he asks me what happened to the dog. So I tell him that the teenagers are taking her home. This makes him happy. He smiles and goes on his way. Hola. But this is where the journey goes from difficult to brutally hard.
Oh, fuck. Holy shit. This is walking up this hill at 10,000 feet. I have now passed the 10,000 mark, and it is so brutal. Just walking, just freaking walking up this hill is tough. But I only got 50 more yards and I'm at the peak.
And I finally get to start my descent. It will be 9 miles of downhill. Now you might think that's easier than climbing up the hill, and it is a little bit easier in a way, but it's also really hard on my quads and my knees. I need to take it easy because now, after 15 miles, my legs and my knees are tired and they're more prone to injury. I must be smart. I must pay attention. Now, I have 2 new problems. I'm almost out of water.
It's almost sunset, and I have at least another 3 hours to run. Because I don't mind running in the dark, but I don't have a flashlight. My battery's almost dead on my phone, and it's a very dark, unlit road. But not the first time I've been in this situation, so I'll make do.
This means I'm going to be running in the dark for as much as 2 hours.
All right, I think I'm on the main road, which is good because even when my battery dies, I know where I am. Because this road leads straight to Cogua and then Zipa, where I live. Let me check my map before the battery dies. I wasn't expecting the main road to be a dirt road with sheep. You guys speak English or Spanish? I'm guessing Spanish. Or do you have your own language? Look at those eyes, so pretty. I'm down to 3% battery. I have a choice of saving it for a flashlight or getting a picture of these views. Guess which one I'm choosing.
I'm truly alone as the last light of day fades away. I don't mind this, but if I stumble onto any dogs or animals, this can be dangerous. There's a particular kind of quiet that happens when the last light goes dark. The mountains disappear, the roads disappear, and everything narrows down to the few feet in front of you. You stop thinking about distance, you stop thinking about destination. You just run towards the next thing you can see. And sometimes that means you don't see anything at all. And you take each step with faith. That's it. That's the whole job. There's something almost spiritual in being so present. The whole world disappears, but your breath, the sound of your feet, the crickets in the field, and how your senses become hyper aware of each step. After a mile of pitch black, I get to my first street light. They're far apart from each other, but it's enough for me to see until I get to the next one. I let out a sigh of relief, not only because there's a little light to see, but because I ran out of water too, and the street lights mean it's just a couple of miles to the next store. Then I get back to the little town of Cogua. I buy a huge bottle of water, I drink half of it in one take, and I start to immediately feel better. Then, in the last 6 miles, there are plenty of streetlights until I get back to Zipaquira, where I live. I inhale my dinner because it's been 7 hours and 30 miles since I last ate.